I used to think family was simple: blood, birth, shared last names. But life has a way of teaching you better. Family is the hand that holds yours in silence. It's the one who remembers your favorite breakfast. It's the little girl who calls you grandpa even when the world says you're not. Emily taught me that blood doesn't guarantee love. Lucia taught me that love doesn't require blood. One erased me from her story. The other wrote me into hers without being asked. And in between, there's truth. Not the kind you post, the kind you live, the kind you protect, the kind that doesn't flinch when things get ugly. For 30 years, I gave everything I had to someone who stopped seeing me. And now, I give what's left to someone who sees me clearer than anyone ever did. So no, I didn't lose a daughter. I just stopped chasing someone who was running from me, and I found something better. A little peace, a little purpose, and the understanding that some legacies are chosen. One quiet moment, one child's laughter, one honest life at a time. Maybe you've been there too. Loved someone who slowly, quietly chose someone else over you. Not with fists, but with silence. Maybe you've held your tongue at a dinner table, paid for a party you weren't really invited to, watched someone you raised rewrite the story. If you have, you're not alone. Some of us love loud. Some love through showing up. Some through letting go. And if this story made you feel something, sadness, rage, peace, maybe all three, then stick around, because here we tell stories that aren't just dramatic. They're real, they're messy, they're the kind that don't always end in hugs and reunions, but sometimes end in clarity. And if you believe like I do that some truths deserve to be told, that not all wounds are meant to be hidden, then maybe you belong here too. Subscribe, because there are more stories like this one, and maybe one of them might be yours. They met at a hardware store, not the romantic kind of place, but real love never starts with flowers. Rachel was returning a broken lamp. Logan was buying concrete mix. He offered to carry her things. She smiled, said yes. That was 12 years ago. She had just finalized her divorce. Messy, ugly. Her ex had gambled away their savings. Logan, he was the opposite. Solid, steady, quiet. He built things, fixed things. Didn't talk much, but when he did, you listened. Rachel moved in after 6 months. Said his place felt safe. Said he felt safe. They married under an old oak tree near Town Lake. Just a few friends. Simple vows. Logan didn't need big promises. He just needed truth. Rachel handled their finances. She was good with numbers. Turned Logan's messy contractor income into clean ledgers, savings accounts, long-term plans. They bought a small house in Austin. Talked about having kids. Tried. Twice. Both ended in heartbreak. After the second miscarriage, things changed. Rachel worked more, smiled less. Logan tried to talk. She said, "I'm fine." But the trust, it stayed. He believed her. Always did. He worked weekends, nights, built extra rooms for the kids they never had. Built fences, laid bricks, cooked dinner when she forgot. He thought love meant effort. That loyalty was enough. That building a life was like building a house. Strong foundation. And he thought Rachel was part of that foundation. It started with an offer, a job, Middle East, Dubai, big money, big hours, 3 months on site, 1 month home, 6-figure bonus, tax-free. Logan wasn't sure. He'd never been that far from home. Never left Rachel for more than a week. But she smiled when he showed her the contract. Ran the numbers in her head before he could finish. "You'd make what you make in a year." "In 4 months," she said. He nodded, still unsure. She kissed him, held his hands. "You've worked so hard. We could finally pay off the house, maybe travel, maybe try again." That word, maybe, it sounded like hope, like a door reopening. Logan signed the papers the next day. Rachel helped pack, made lists, labeled bags, printed boarding passes, told him to take photos. "Just be safe," she said as she kissed him goodbye at Austin Bergstrom Airport. Her eyes welled up, but she didn't cry. Rachel never cried. Logan walked onto that plane thinking he was doing the right thing. For them. He didn't know she'd already opened a separate checking account the week before he left. He didn't know the lockbox in her closet was already empty. All he knew was that his wife believed in him, that she wanted him to go, and that maybe, just maybe, this job would fix what was quietly breaking. The first sign was a hotel charge. Clearwater Beach. 2 nights. $462. Rachel said it was for a client. Last minute tax fix, she shrugged. He nodded, didn't ask, didn't want to sound paranoid. A week later, another charge. Dinner at the Grayson? Steakhouse? $280. Rachel didn't eat steak, said it was for networking, didn't offer details. Logan still didn't push. She was the accountant. She handled their money. She knew what she was doing. But he started noticing things. The camera in their living room offline. Wi-Fi issues, she said. She'd fix it. Never did. The video calls always in dim rooms. Never the kitchen. Never their bed. And when she smiled, it didn't reach her eyes. When he asked, she blamed work. Too many spreadsheets. I'm tired. He believed her, because believing her was easier than admitting something felt off. He checked their joint account and saw everything still looked normal. Sort of. But one night while FaceTiming from the work trailer, he saw a bag in the background, one he didn't recognize. Knew he asked. She hesitated. Birthday gift from a client. He nodded again, said looks nice. What he didn't say, her birthday was still 2 months away. He made a note, didn't confront, didn't accuse. Just watched, because something was changing. And part of him, the part that built foundations, knew cracks don't show up overnight. They form slowly, then all at once. It was Tuesday. Logan had just finished a 14-hour shift, poured concrete from dawn till dusk. Skin burnt, back sore, the kind of tired that lives in your bones. He sat alone in a dusty trailer on the edge of the site, air conditioning humming, a paper cup of lukewarm coffee in his hand. Then his phone buzzed. Rachel. Her name still made his chest tighten. Even now. The message was short, cold, like a knife without a handle. I found my soulmate. I've taken what's mine. Don't call. Don't try to find me. This is for the best. Logan stared at the screen. 1 minute, then 2. No reaction. No rage. No tears. He took a sip of coffee, put the cup down, typed 3 words. Have fun then. And sent it. Just like that. Not because it didn't hurt, but because the pain had been there for weeks. This was just confirmation. He didn't call, didn't ask why, didn't chase. Instead, he pulled out a small notebook from his bag, wrote the date, the time, and the exact message. Because Logan didn't react. He recorded. Because when someone tries to steal your life, you don't scream. You prepare. And Rachel, she had no idea. She just triggered a trap 6 months in the making. Logan had seen this story before. Different characters, same script. Rachel's ex-husband had done it to her. Drained their accounts, left her broken. Back then, Logan was the one who helped her recover. He remembered the first time she cried in front of him, sitting on his porch clutching a bank statement and a bottle of cheap red wine. I trusted him, she said, until the end. He'd held her hand, told her that'll never happen again, not while I'm around. 12 years later, here they were. Same betrayal, different direction. But Logan wasn't the same man either. After years of long shifts and short weekends, he'd learned to see cracks in walls, in foundations in people. And months before Dubai, he'd started noticing them in Rachel. The distance, the fake smiles, the late night emails. So he did what he did best. He built something. Not a house, not a wall. A system. 2-factor authorizations, daily alerts, shared accounts with hidden monitoring protocols. His cousin Vanessa worked in fraud prevention at his bank. He called her in January. Set it up. Quietly. If anything moves more than $500, I want to know first. Rachel had no idea. She thought he was distracted, busy, exhausted. She was right, but not stupid. Because Logan didn't scream when the storm came. He built the levee months before the rain. Vanessa called the same day the message came. She didn't ask how Logan was doing. She just said she tried. 3 accounts, 2 banks, all blocked. Logan exhaled. Not relief, not victory, just confirmation. The system worked. 6 months earlier, he had signed new protocols, account access restrictions, Joint signatures required for any transfer over $500. Rachel had signed too, smiling, probably not reading the fine print. She thought it was about international travel safety. He let her think that. But Logan knew what he was doing. He didn't need revenge. He needed protection. Everything was covered. Savings, investments, retirement accounts, even the emergency fund. Vanessa had layered it all. No single action could unlock the money. No phone call, no password reset. Her attempts triggered fraud protocols, Vanessa said. We froze everything immediately. She's locked out. Logan smiled. Small, silent, earned. Rachel thought she was ahead. Thought she'd emptied the vault, but she'd only triggered the trap. The account she drained a decoy. A shell. $8,000 intentionally left visible. She took it all. Thought it was the jackpot. Didn't know the real accounts were buried behind security layers she couldn't guess. Couldn't even see. Logan didn't change passwords after the betrayal. He changed them 6 months before. Because when someone looks you in the eyes and lies with a straight face, you don't wait for proof. You build your exit silently and you wait. Logan's phone rang at 3:08 a.m. Qatar time. Rachel. He let it ring, didn't move, didn't blink. 5 minutes later, another call. Then again, and again. Fourth time he picked up. Her voice cracked. Logan, something's wrong with the bank. He sat up, turned on the light in the workers' dormitory. 20 men sleeping around him, all exhausted, all silent. What kind of wrong? They froze everything. They're saying suspicious activity, but I'm your wife. I should have access. Logan said nothing. Where are you calling from? Pause. Then Fort Lauderdale. Kyle and we were signing a lease. When we tried to transfer the deposit, nothing went through. Kyle, so that was his name. How long, Rachel? He asked quietly. Since before your first Dubai trip, she whispered. 6 months. While Logan was building highways in the desert, she was building a fantasy in Florida. What does Kyle do? He's a life coach. He helps people find their truth. Logan almost laughed. Instead, he stared at the ceiling. And his truth involves spending my money. It's not like that, she said. We love each other. What we had, it wasn't real love. Put Kyle on. What? You heard me. Muffled voices. Then a man's voice came on. Smooth. Confident. Victor, hey. Click. Logan hung up. No goodbye. No curse. Just silence. 'Cause some people aren't worth hearing twice. The next morning, Logan called Vanessa. Can you run a background on Kyle Rafferty? She didn't ask why. Didn't need to. 2 hours later, she called back. Voice flat. You're gonna love this. Kyle Rafferty, 41. No fixed employment. No professional licenses. Claims to be a life coach. No certifications. No registered business. Filed bankruptcy twice. Owes $12,000 in child support to a first wife in Orlando. Second wife filed for divorce after Kyle emptied their joint savings to invest in a boat business. Boat never existed. Currently being sued by a landlord in St. Petersburg for 6 months of unpaid rent. Logan took a deep breath. Looked out at the sun-scorched concrete his team had poured the day before. Rachel didn't find a soulmate. She found a predator. The real question was, did she know? Vanessa answered before he could ask. If I could find all this in under an hour, Rachel could have found it in 15 minutes. Logan nodded. Rachel ran background checks on plumbers before hiring them. She knew, or she didn't want to know, because fantasy feels better than truth. And Kyle, he sold fantasy for free, then lived off your bank account until the dream collapsed. Rachel didn't just fall for him. She bet everything on a lie she helped create. The next message came at midnight. Short, shaky. Kyle's gone. He took the cash and the car. I have nothing. Logan read it while brushing his teeth. Didn't react, didn't reply. 15 minutes later, another text. Please, I'm scared. I need to come home. Logan turned off the light, slid into bed, set his alarm. 3:45 a.m. call time. Her third message came at dawn. You win. I was stupid. Help me, please. He didn't feel like he'd won anything, just felt done. Later that afternoon, she called. Again. This time he answered. Logan, I know I don't deserve it, but I have nowhere else. Not even a bus ticket. He let the silence sit. She kept going. He lied to me. He said he had money. Said we'd build something together. Logan stared out at the cranes lifting steel into desert sky. You lied too, he said. You said we'd build something. Rachel sniffled. I made a mistake. No, he said you made a choice. She didn't answer. Only breath on the other end. Then I'm sorry. He paused, then calmly said, call your sister, or your cousin, or whoever you lied about visiting last month. And he hung up. It was Rachel's sister, Jennifer. First time she'd called Logan in years. He answered on the second ring. Logan, I just talked to Rachel. She's in bad shape, crying, stranded. She said you froze everything. Logan listened. Let her talk. She told me you're holding the money to punish her, that she can't even buy a bus ticket home. He looked out the window. The sun was setting over the desert, everything golden. Still. We're not having money problems, Logan said. We're having honesty problems. Jennifer paused. Did she cheat on you? Yes. With Kyle? Yes. Did she try to take the money? All of it. Another pause. Then she told me he tricked her. She tricked me first. Jennifer exhaled. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. She's my sister. She was my wife. Silence. Heavy. Then do you want me to help her get home? That's up to you. But I won't fund her rescue. Not after what she tried to steal. Jennifer sighed. I thought you two were solid. We were. Until she started digging. Digging! Logan nodded, looking for a way out, and a way to take everything with her. He ended the call. No anger, no bitterness. Just clarity. Some things don't need screaming. They just need distance. Vanessa called again. Her voice was sharp, tight, controlled. She didn't just stumble into this, Logan. She planned it. What do you mean? She called the bank 3 weeks before your Dubai trip. Asked about removing your name from the joint account. Said you were planning to transfer control. Logan didn't respond. Didn't need to. She even asked if she could authorize Kyle as a secondary account holder. That landed hard. Rachel hadn't just cheated. She'd tried to erase him. Not emotionally, financially. She wanted a clean break. No fight, no paper trail. Just silence. And a balance transfer. But Logan had already locked every system. And now every move she made left a footprint. A record. Logan Vanessa continued. We've got timestamps, recording, staff notes. If this goes to court, she's cornered. He nodded, not out of satisfaction, out of closure. He remembered the night Rachel asked if he had updated his travel permissions. She smiled as she poured wine. He'd thought it was just care. Now he saw it, that smile was strategy. She thought he was tired, distracted, easy to fool. But Logan wasn't distracted. He was documenting. Because love ends in two ways, with heartbreak or with evidence. And Logan, he didn't just have a broken heart. He had a case. Logan called his lawyer in Austin, Daryl Bennett. Old school, precise. Daryl didn't ask for drama. He asked for documentation. Anything over email, yes. Screenshots, hundreds. Account activity, timestamped, logged. Vanessa's already pulled the bank's internal notes. Daryl exhaled through his nose. That's solid. We can build with this. He sent over a checklist. Divorce petition, asset declaration, affidavit of misconduct. Logan filled it all. Calm, line by line. Rachel had always joked he was too detailed. Now, that habit paid off. He had receipts, voicemails, text messages, a copy of the lease Rachel tried to sign with Kyle, even a screen recording of her attempt to change account credentials. Daryl's verdict, open and shut. Texas may be a no-fault state, but when financial misconduct is this clear, the judge will notice. Rachel thought she could disappear, start over, take what wasn't hers and vanish. But Logan didn't chase her. He built a legal wall she couldn't climb. Every lie she told became a brick in that wall. And now, with the papers drafted, the account locked, and her own signature on every authorization, she wasn't just cornered, she was documented. And the only thing more permanent than betrayal is paperwork. People kept asking Logan if he was angry, if he felt betrayed, if he wanted revenge. He'd always pause, then say the same thing. I'm not mad, I'm just done. Because what Rachel took wasn't just money. It was history, years, memories, the version of her he thought was real. But Logan never yelled, never smashed things, never sent long texts full of what ifs and regrets. He opened a notebook instead, wrote dates, times, transactions, turn pain into pages. He didn't need fire. He had facts. When Rachel begged to talk it through, he sent her lawyer's number. When Kyle texted an apology, Logan deleted it. Didn't even finish reading. When Rachel offered to be friends someday, he didn't respond. Because Logan didn't want peace. He had peace. She just wasn't part of it anymore. 6 weeks after the message, he flew home. The divorce was processed, the accounts resecured, the house retitled, every trace of Rachel removed. Logan bought a smaller place, got a dog, learned to cook, laughed again, quietly. Sometimes he'd stare at the foundation of his new home, perfectly level, poured by his own hands, and say aloud, "This time I built it right." 'Cause in the end, Logan didn't get even. He got free. And that he decided was the real revenge. Logan didn't toast, didn't celebrate, didn't post a single word about what happened. There were no victory laps, no loud exits, no need to explain. Because the truth didn't need an audience. Rachel moved on, tried to rebuild. Kyle vanished, of course he did. And Logan, he went quiet, stayed working, started over. He rebuilt his credit, his house, his routine, even his mornings. Got used to silence that didn't come from heartbreak, but from peace. He learned to cook for one, to enjoy coffee slowly, to take long walks with Sultan the dog he adopted on a Tuesday afternoon with no plan, just instinct. Sometimes he'd drive past the old house, see someone else's lights behind curtains she picked, and he'd feel nothing, not rage, not sorrow, just gone. 'Cause revenge, real revenge isn't fire. It's not screaming, not making them hurt. It's walking away with everything they tried to take and more. It's being unbothered, unreachable, untouchable. Logan never raised his voice, never raised a hand. He just raised a wall between what hurt him and what comes next. And in that silence, he found everything he'd been missing. Have you ever trusted someone so fully, you gave them your passwords, your future, your last name? Have you ever believed in someone more than they believed in themselves? Only to watch them walk away with everything Logan did. And he learned something most people never do. That betrayal doesn't always arrive with screaming matches or broken glass or slammed doors. Sometimes it shows up as a text, 12 words long, no punctuation, no remorse. And when it does, you have two choices: fall apart or fall quiet and rebuild smarter. Logan chose the second, and maybe you did too. If you've ever been betrayed financially, emotionally, quietly, tell us. Your story might be the one someone else needs to hear. Drop it in the comments. One sentence or one paragraph. This is a space for people who got hurt and didn't burn the world down. They just learned to walk away stronger. And if you want more stories like this, real revenge, quiet justice, cold payoffs, you know what to do. Hit subscribe. We tell the stories most people are afraid to admit they lived. And this was just one of them. We'll see you in the next one.